So it's the book of Joel. Down, Joel. Alright, this is Joel, the third chapter and the ninth verse. And it reads, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Right? So this is a proclamation, right, through the Heavenly Father to basically make the heathens aware of the coming judgment, right? So it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong, right? And what that means is they're basically, these kingdoms that were not revered for any form of warfare, they're now investing into weapons of war. That's why you're having countries like India, right, becoming world powers in a sense of, or starting to become dominant world powers in the world. Iran, these different countries, because they're now investing in, what's this word, man? They're now investing in weapons of war, right? ICBMs, fighter jets, ICBMs. The other, I can't remember the other one. Not intercontinental, but they're investing in the short versions of nuclear warheads. They're investing into all these different things because it's a fulfillment of prophecy. Okay, so I read against this: proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into spears, into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. Now these are nations that before no one would have regarded as strong nations, but the Heavenly Father said that the weak are now saying that they are strong by doing what? By beating their plowshares into swords and their pruning hooks into spears, alright? So it says, assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, right? The valley of Jehoshaphat is basically over there in Lebanon, which is basically the Middle East, all right? That's the lowland, all right? Which is the valley of Jehoshaphat. The word Jehoshaphat goes back to the Hebrew word Yahweh Shaphat, right? Which it means Yahweh being the Heavenly Father and Shaphat meaning his judgment. Right, so it's basically saying for them to come down into that valley, for them to come to the judgment of the Heavenly Father. Alright? So that's the fulfillment of the book of Obadiah, right? Which is presently happening right now as we speak. So it's going back to Obadiah. It says it's Obadiah 1 and 3. It says, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. Right? Who's the only person that dwelt in the clefts of the rock? You had the Horites before, but they got taken out of that place of the children of Hor, basically being the Hamitic people, but they were taken out of the land by the Edomites, alright? And they're basically known as the cave dwellers, alright? And that's the same thing with the Caucasians today. That means cave dweller, alright? It goes back to the dwelling within the what? Caucasus Mountains. So verse 3, that's why this book, the Bible, is basically wrote as a puzzle, right? It ain't easy for anyone to solve. You gotta read it with an attentive eye, basically, paying attention to detail, right? So it says, verse 3, it says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, all right? So they dwelt in the clefts of rock. But guess what? They've now brought that back into society again. That's why if you go over to there, over to go over to New York, basically, what's one of the nicknames for New York? It's called the concrete jungle, right? What's the only thing that could be known as a concrete jungle? A mountainous region, all right? So basically, that's why you have that, because Esau basically perpetuating his spirit on his habitation and building those higher places as he once dwelt in the land of in as going back into Mount Petra, all right, and then also going into the mountains of the Caucasus Mountains, basically. It's lucky, man. I'm cold, man. I'm cutting up my words, but this cold's getting to me. All right. So it says his habitation is high. That saith in his heart, so he says in his mind, who shall bring me down to the ground? All right, and that's why he has a desire to live in high places, because it resonates with his spirit and makes him feel like the Most High, basically. And that should let you know something when you deal with the Tower of Babel, right? That's why Esau's trying to basically bring that back again. That's why Esau's trying to bring it back again, because why? That's in his spirit, all right? Let me read on. It says, who shall bring me down to the ground? Verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, all right? Where's the eagle being shown as an exaltation in the land of America? Going back to the Romans, you had the eagle. You had the movie by, what's this guy name, man? Magic Mike, man. What's his name? Fucking, it's on the tip of my tongue, man. Jason Statham. But anyway, that guy's name, he basically did the movie The Eagle, and he's a lead character. Where he basically they said he had a stain on his name because his dad lost the eagle, which was a great reverence to the Roman Empire at that time. And he had his heart set on going to the land of, well, to this land being the United Kingdom as it's known today, but was known then. Back then as a no man's land, basically. He wanted to go and get back the eagle, right, which belonged to what? The Roman Empire. Because that's basically Esau's spirit. Esau's spirit is to personify the eagle, right? Because it's a proud animal. So it says, verse 4, it says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord, alright? So basically, once Esau Edom basically set his nest in the stars, which is talking about Apollo 11, alright? Going back to that happening back in the year of 1969, that's basically when the Most High said it was a wrap for their kingdom. Because when you see at the turn of the 1970s, basically what you had happen is the fall of Esau. That was a pinnacle of Esau's rulership, but then that's when it began to fall. And why did I say it began to fall specifically then? Because that's when you had the Great Awakening, right, within the children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. How did they awaken? By having a sense of pride in who they are, all right? And I was basically setting that was basically not the forerunner, but it was setting a stage for the forerunner to basically make his appearance, which is basically Elijah, all right? Or the spirit of Elijah, which came in the form of Abba Bivens, alright? So that was the beginning of his fall. Verse 5. So it says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grapes gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes, alright? So basically, I was talking about the theft of Esau, alright? How he basically went above and beyond the call of duty. So he says, how are the things of Esau searched out? how are the hidden things, sort out, sort up. Alright, and that's basically saying the Heavenly Father showed those secret things unto the children of Israel. Okay?